Hello, I'm Michael Quinn, founder of Democratic Right, Ireland's only white nationalist political movement. The purpose of this video is to give you a brief outline of some of the issues which are of major concern for us and which we feel our present liberal and left-wing political elite are incapable of or just too damn cowardly to tackle head on. I'd like to look at asylum seekers first of all, okay? There are approximately between 7,500 to 8,000 asylum seekers in the system. Now these are costing the Irish taxpayer annually approximately €85 million. Now this doesn't include their legal costs, and I have an article here by John Cusack in the Sunday Independent, May the 4th, 2008. Now this is just their legal costs. The cost of dealing with asylum seekers will reach $300 million this year, with Irish lawyers making a killing from an estimated 1,200 judicial reviews of deportation cases by people who have entered the country illegally. Each of the reviews is likely to cost the state at least €30,000 to €50,000, and some 20 million is being set aside to cover legal costs to the Exchequer, as all are on legal aid. It has also emerged that of the 3,985 applications for asylum made last year, 502 applications for asylum were made in the name of children under the age of 3. These are nearly all children born to asylum seekers living here and who have already been turned down for asylum. In some of these cases, it is the second or third child in the family to make the application. Now this is a total abuse of the system. In Democratic Right, what we would suggest is that we build holding centres for people who arrive in Ireland, and that they be immediately moved to these centres, and that the process will be done in a very, very short period of time. Many of these people have travelled through other safe countries, so basically we don't have to take them as asylum seekers, so we will send them back. The situation could be cleared up very, very quickly, but because of our government and media and all the liberals and the lefties, and it's all PC and we have to care for these people and all, okay, there are some cases that are probably genuine, but the vast majority are not genuine. We would also suggest that, if we have asylum seekers here, it's really not our responsibility, because the Irish for years, from 60, 70 years, they've been sending money to Africa, India and all these other third world countries. So we've been more than generous with these people. The point I'm trying to make is that if anyone has a moral obligation to these people, it's their post-colonial masters, those who colonised their own countries, and not the Irish. And I think we've been very generous in helping those people over many, many, many years. So we don't have a moral obligation to these people. They're costing vast sums of money to the Irish taxpayer, and it's a totally unnecessary expenditure for all of us. So that's where we stand on that. Another area that's of major concern to us is that the rise in violent crime. Since January 2008 up to June of this year, there have been 35 gangland murders. Now, crime is totally out of hand, and it's obvious the government and previous governments are incapable of dealing with this situation. It's almost like cowardice. It could be cowardice, it could be PC, or it could be corruption, that these people have people in powerful positions, and maybe that's why they're getting away with it. So what we would suggest in Democratic Right, what we want to see introduced, is that if a person is brought up on his third criminal offence, if those 3 criminal offences are serious crimes, we want to see an additional 25 years imprisonment added to the sentence handed down by the judge on the third conviction. We would be looking at not quite so serious crimes. We would be looking for an additional 15 years on top of the sentence given out by the court, and for maybe less minor crimes we would be looking for an additional 10 years on top of the sentence handed down by the court. We believe this will go some way in eliminating some of the criminal activity in the country. The concern for us is the rise in criminality of youngsters under the age of 18. We would be in favour of laws being introduced that would actually punish the parents of juvenile delinquents. In other words, if a youngster gets into trouble, he goes to court, he gets a custodial sentence or a fine. We believe that the parents of the parents also should be fined in that case. We feel that this will go some way in forcing these people. Unfortunately, we have to force them to take responsibility for the children's antisocial and criminal behaviour, because in many areas throughout Dublin and throughout the rest of the country, children have just gone wild, they're uncontrollable. So the only way we can change this, and the only way society can change this, is to actually force the parents of these young offenders to start to take responsibility for their children, and not just throw them out early in the morning and not see them then till late in the evening and not have a clue what they've been doing all day. So parents, you're going to have to take responsibility for your children's antisocial and criminal behaviour.